Hey everybody, how you guys doing? My name is Rich, and welcome to my channel, Creator. If you came to this video, I'm assuming you're looking for some guidance on how to get started, or strategies on how to improve and get the best out of your digital drawing experience. And with that, let's jump right into it. Now when it comes to what device you're going to be drawing on, you have a few options. You have your tablets like your iPad or your Android, which give you the portability and let you go wherever you want to go. And then you have what's essentially another monitor plugged into your computer, which is basically just a desktop standalone, and you don't have the portability. Now you also have a third option, which is basically a touchpad that plugs into your computer. I tried it, but personally I didn't really like it because you still have to look in front of you at your screen and not where your hand is actually touching, because the thing your hand is touching the stylus to is not a screen. It's just a, like I said, just a flat pad. Now I didn't care for it. I didn't really like it, but you might be able to get used to it. Some people actually have gotten used to this, but me personally, I like to actually be seeing the drawing where my hand actually is and not looking away from my hand at what I'm drawing, because it doesn't feel natural to me. Because if you're drawing on paper, the non-digital way, you're obviously going to be looking at your hand and what it's drawing. So to me, it just didn't feel natural. But if you can get used to it, it's a much more cheaper option. Cheaper than the tablets, and especially cheaper than the graphics tablets that plug into your computer. So just another option if you want to try it, and a much more cheaper option as well, especially to start out with. Now there's definitely a lot of programs out there for drawing, and quite honestly I haven't really experienced a lot of them, because the few that I tried I was pretty happy with, whether that be on the iPad, which is where I used to draw before I switched to a PC graphics tablet, or a few programs that I tried on the graphics tablet when I switched to that, and then I was pretty much just happy with it. So while there are a lot of options out there, I can't really tell you exactly how many of them perform and what features they have, because I only know a few. But I think when it comes to programs, I would definitely recommend experimenting and trying out a lot of stuff. Got plenty of free open source programs out there which are good for beginners if you don't want to be spending a lot of money right out the gate before you really know how you feel about this passion, this hobby. And then you can advance more to more expensive, costly programs, which obviously are going to have more features and more things you can do. Just a quick side note that some of the things I may be talking about here to make things a little easier for you or get the best out of your drawing may not be available on the program that you choose. So you may have to just kind of work around it, or live without it, or switch to the program that does have it if you do want to take advantage of that feature, because like I said, some programs may be so basic that you might not actually have some of these features that I'm going to mention in this video. So just a heads up on that one. But for the most part, these are standard things that will be available on any drawing program really. When it comes to drawing, it's really important to have ideas already ahead of time, because if you try to just dive into it without really having any concrete idea in your head, it makes it a lot more difficult to get it down properly. So I would definitely recommend having a plan right out the gate, knowing exactly what the topic is, what the exact drawing is going to be, the rough idea, because it's going to make it a lot easier to start out with. So plan ahead, have everything kind of figured out of exactly what you're drawing ahead of time. Just pre-planning in general is just a good idea. Very important to remember that when you're first starting with a drawing, you want a rough sketch first. Don't worry about how it looks at first. You're just scribbling down a rough idea of the layout of the drawing. It's kind of like a blueprint when it comes to drawings, right? Just like you'd have a blueprint when building a house. It's just a rough idea. Don't worry about it. You're just doing a rough sketch when you're first starting out, and then you pretty much smooth out the lines and you clean everything up after. That way it's less stressful. You're not trying to redo, trying to perfect everything right out the gate. When you're drawing, having a reference is very important. Remember, you can't just draw based off of thoughts in your head alone. Thoughts are not going to be perfect enough. They're not going to show you the exact details of the way something is angled, or the shadowing, or the lighting, or anything like that. You're not going to do that just from drawing from your mind. Memory is not going to be precise enough. It's not going to be accurate enough. So remember, it's very important to have reference. Have an image of what you're trying to draw that you can work with. Remember, you're not tracing it. You're just having it there so you can look at it and keep looking back and forth between that and the drawing to get an idea. It will make a huge difference, and it'll help you out in knowing how things are going to look, how the shape of that thing looks. And if your drawing contains multiple items, you can have, like, say you have like a car, but you also have, a person like standing next to the car. You can have images of people in that certain pose that you're looking for. You can have images of the car along that too. Just have images of everything that you're drawing. It's very important. You're not copying it, you're using it as reference for your personal drawing and how your drawing is going to look. Your drawing is still going to be unique. You just need to see these items to know exactly how they look and how they're shaped and to get an idea. It will help you, and it's very important. You always use reference. Remember that. Now, there may be some programs that are actually like very, very basic and don't have this, but for the most part, most programs are going to have what's called layers. Layers is essentially what it sounds like. You're basically having multiple layers of different drawings, and one layer will not interact and interfere with the other. So you can have something in the foreground and then something in the background behind it, depending on which order the layers are. Now this is absolutely a lifesaver and an absolute game changer when it comes to drawing. Do not draw on just one single layer. Multiple layers, as much as you can, as much as the hardware and the device you're using can handle, alright? Because let me tell you, it makes things way easier. If you have something that's in the foreground and the background, something that's in front and something that's behind in the drawing, you want those to actually be on separate layers, on separate canvases. Just like if it was physical paper, you'd have, layers of paper. The same applies in the digital realm on a program. You have multiple layers. It gives you so much more freedom to mess with one part of the drawing while it doesn't interfere with the others. Also, while on the topic of layers, if you're into cartoon style drawing like I am, I would really recommend having your outlines be on a separate layer, because in that way when you're doing like shadowing or lighting and messing with like the coloring of your objects, that won't mess up with the outlines because they'll be on separate layers. So yeah, just another thing to keep in mind. And if your program is advanced enough to have vector layers, when it comes to outlines, I would recommend the outline layer being a vector layer. What that does is it means that you can change the size of that layer, of those lines, and they won't get all pixelated. Because with regular layers, like raster and regular layers, if you change it, if you like enlarge or shrink and then enlarge again, like those outlines, they will get blurry. Like they will get all, like they'll start to get fuzzy. The pixel will start to mess up. But with vector, that won't happen. It'll actually stay sharp, even if you change the size and mess with those outlines. So that's a great option to have if you want to like make some changes, last minute changes to your outlines without actually redrawing it. You can just use the select tool in your program, change the size of the outlines, and they'll stay looking exactly the same. If your program has it, definitely recommend using it. Now there's a lot more things and a lot more strategies, of course, and ways to go about things that I could teach you, but I'm actually going to wrap it up here because there's so much to cover that it would take forever. But I really hope this has helped you, and I hope this has been helpful for you if you're just starting out, because I'm happy to help and happy to give people some tips and some information about ways to go about and make the whole process easier when it comes to drawing. Because it certainly has helped me throughout the years of my life, watching videos and hearing things from other people that really made the experience a lot better for me and helped me to improve and get to the point that I'm at now. So if I can do the same for anyone watching this, then that's a good thing. I hope you all have a good day and good luck with your artistic adventures. See you.